and they won't charge him that, but we don't know. But he is at least looking at almost $1 million that he missed out on. Now, this whole thing was, about money. He wanted to be paid, and he wanted to be compensated as he felt as such. And I just didn't see where he had the leverage. And again, anyone that has heard me talk, I have never said, this guy's not worth it. This is it. All it is, and I will stick to this to the day that I die. If someone is willing to pay it to you, I am not going to hate on what money you get because you're not holding a gun to anyone's head. The only thing is that the money that Melvin Gordon was looking at, because it was reported that the Chargers offered him around $10 million a year, and he wanted more than that. They were between $2 and $3 million off from that, and the Chargers stood steadfast and said they weren't going to give it to him, which I totally believe that because the Chargers' history is they have a firm stance on how they pay their players. And the other thing about this is that when you look at Melvin Gordon, although that he is a very productive running back for their team, when you are looking at him in comparison to a guy like Zeke Elliott, in a comparison to a guy like Todd Gurley, in a comparison to a guy like David Johnson, in a comparison to a guy like Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon has never had one of those seasons to put to his resume. Also, to go along with the team last year while he was injured, they went 4-0. So I was talking about this before, is that this is not a good look. This is not the leverage that he's looking for. Now, then the team did actually, or his agent actually did get permission to seek a trade or actually look into finding people that would be interested in a trade. Now, there was rumor that the Eagles were trying to trade for Melvin Gordon, but what they were offering is that the Chargers was not accepting, which I'm not surprised by that. And I don't know if there were any other takers that were out there that was willing to give him the money. Well, one, give the Chargers the assets that they wanted in return, but also give Melvin Gordon the money that he wanted. Because obviously you don't want to just rent him for the final year of his contract. So I'm just really wondering, it was this more of Melvin, or was it maybe bad advice? Which I'm probably more leaning towards is that it is bad advice, but we don't know. I don't know 100% sure, so I'm not going to just say 100% what it was. But regardless, in this situation, someone got it wrong. Someone got it misconstrued. I think a lot of us and most of us actually saw that Melvin was not going to get this money. And I was hoping that he would, so he could go ahead and play ball and be, and be done. But when you look at everything as far as like his production, his health, the team, with and without him, and in the position that he was in, and then his market value, I think that was the biggest thing, is that when they got the okay, which the Chargers were very strategic in doing this, they didn't go ahead and make him available to seek a trade during the preseason. Oh, we're going to wait until after everyone has kind of solidified their rosters, and then you can go out there and you can see if you can find someone that is willing to give you the money that you want. Now, I don't think there was anyone willing to give him the money that he was wanting anyway to begin with. They were scared off a little bit with Todd Gurley and with David Johnson and how their contracts have come back to not necessarily bite the team, but they have injuries and then they have down years, and it just doesn't look well for a guy like Melvin Gordon in his situation. So in this case, it's good that he's back. He has the opportunity. He's going to have this is 4 games in, so he's going to have 12 games to show and put on, paper and also on film of why he feel that he should be getting paid the money that he is. Me personally, I don't think he still will get that money. I just hope it doesn't cost him and then a team lowball him and actually offer him less than what the Chargers were going to ask him, because that is what this business in football will do. It's like, hey, if they were going to offer you 10, I'll give you 8, and you'll be right there with Devontae Freeman making the same money that he is. So regardless, it didn't look well, and it doesn't look like it played out well either for Melvin Gordon in this whole situation. But I hope he gets back in there. I hope there's nothing, because the concern now is you haven't played any football in now 2 months, because you got to take the preseason of 4 weeks, and then now you're missing week 4, and you're going to go back into a physical sport and try and be as dominant as he once was in the game. So hopefully nothing like that happens with injury, but Melvin Gordon is back. He is ready to go. Hopefully he can put this all behind him and just play football. And maybe, just maybe, he might get his money. So that's what it is. In the Wait a Minute Show chat room, you guys have been talking. I appreciate the love for the family time, saying it's good, it's all good, Jelani, and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. Now Vince Wright, he is saying in here, Jelani, when are we talking Wolverines? He says that's all I want to hear from you. And trust me. We will get to the Michigan Wolverines in due time, sir, because I do have something to say about those Wolverines. So do not go anywhere. I will touch base on that. But what I'm going to touch base on right now is our second story, and that is Antonio Brown. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna spend that much time on this. Because I'm really done with the Antonio Brown storylines. He got his situation that he needs to handle. Go ahead, handle that. You're not on the NFL roster. Okay. And just like anything else in the NFL, when they blow that whistle, they have moved on from you. And that is exactly what they're doing right now. But Antonio Brown, just recently, now they're bringing back up the whole, furniture incident down at the Florida condo, that there were two lawsuits, against him. Then you got obviously the 2 allegations from the 2 young ladies. Then you have, the endorsements deal that he's losing. Then you have, obviously, he's not employed right now with the NFL team. Then it was, hey, I'm going to go to school, some Instagram post. Then it's his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, saying, well, he still really want to play football. Then it's all this stuff, posting about Shannon Sharp, about Robert Kraft, about Big Ben. It's just entirely too much of a circus right now. Too much going on, too much circulating around Antonio Brown. And before he can play any football, all of this that is circulating around him, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be final. It needs to be done with. So then not only can teams, if they are interested, start inquiring about him, but so he himself can move on. But at times it seems like he is his own worst enemy in situations. Making time with the whole thing to bring up Ben. Ben hasn't said anything about you. That's not a good look. Bringing up Robert Kraft and his situation. That's not a good look. I mean, you got your own problems. The worst thing that you can do is when you have your own problems, you try to bring up other people's problems to in comparison to yours. They got their problems, but you got yours. It's not like you bringing up Big Ben's situation from 10, 11 years ago, whenever that happened, that people are going to say, oh, you know what? Let's not worry about Antonio's situation. No, your situation is still going to be there. So bringing that up has no effect or no outcome that is going to help your situation. And I don't know what Drew Rosenhaus is doing at this point, because you have to be thinking at some point, or he has told Antonio maybe stay off social media. Look, don't say anything, don't do anything or anything, because at this point right now, there is nothing that you can do, like these social media posts that he's doing, that's going to help out the situation. Drew Rosenhaus is, I'm sure, working working very, very hard at trying to find him employment. But you got all this other stuff that needs to be situated. You got to get that situated. You can't add to that to push your time back from getting on with it with another team. So until Antonio Brown gets that, I mean, who knows? What will happen if he'll play again. I think he will. I think if he gets it all situated in the next, 6-7 weeks or whatever, and he could play maybe the last 6-7 games, of the season, some team will pick him up and have him play this year. I definitely think he will play next year, but he has a lot of stuff that he needs to get, situated. Regardless if the allegations are false, whatever it is, get all that situated, get all that taken care of, whatever it is, and then you move into football. But until you do that, you're going to continue to have the problems, and then you're going to continue to bring problems to your doorstep. So I hope that all comes together. Vince Wright says in the Wait a Minute Show chat room, well, good luck in school, AB. That brother ain't going back to school. Yeah, I mean, no, he's not going back to school at all. I don't even know why he said that. To me, there's no point. There's nothing in school that can teach him. He has these business ideas that he has launched and everything, so it's not like he's going to go back to school and be like, oh, now I get it. So, no, he's not going back to school, Vince. But you listen to the Wait a Minute Show with your man, Jelani J.B. Bodie, and we are talking sports. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, dare I say, Danny Dimes? Danny Dimes? Really? Daniel Jones. So, I mean, we've had some rookie quarterbacks that have really impressed this year early into the season. Kyle Allen, he took over for Cam Newton and he played well, 4 touchdowns. This guy, Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville, yeah, he definitely surprised some people. You already had Kyler Murray. He was the number 1 overall pick. So what he's been doing from day one. They haven't won a game yet, but obviously you see the guy is game to, try and compete in this league. But the biggest conversation piece that was at the draft was Daniel Jones for the New York Giants. And the New York Giants, last week we talked about this, is that they finally decided to tell Eli to have a seat and give Daniel Jones the keys to not the Ferrari, but the keys to the car, the keys to the franchise at this point. And at least in one game, he did not disappoint. He came back from being down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they won that game. And he had a really, really good performance for it being his first performance. Now, a lot of that stuff was preseason hype as well, because he had such a great preseason. Again, I wasn't too impressed from it because I said he was playing against guys that we wouldn't be seeing in the NFL in a few weeks. But now he playing against guys that are in the NFL for an extended period of time, and he brought the Giants back to beat the Buccaneers 32-31. Regardless, however way you want to, look at this game, a win is a win. They won the game. Daniel Jones, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, and then 2 touchdowns on the ground. So he had a really good game. Got Giants fans all excited, and the real reason I'm really glad that he had this game is, one, just for a second, just a little bit to silence some of the people that were booing him and that had a problem. Like I said before, Daniel Jones did not draft himself to the New York Giants. The New York Giants drafted him, so I don't know why you got to boo the kid. All the kid is trying to do is do what any other NFL player is trying to do, and they're trying to make a living and perform well and play well and do well, for their team. Now, having said that, obviously, it was a shot in the arm for the New York Giants because Eli hasn't had a game like this in a while. And they hadn't been in a game. And then you see guys like Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard, both of them with over 100 yards receiving and touchdowns apiece for themselves, being more effective. And then you got to remember, after this week, they're going to get Golden Tate back. So they're going to have their full nucleus, other than obviously Saquon Barkley. We all know about that with the high ankle sprain. But they're going to have, a lot of guys that are ready to go, and Daniel Jones is going to be behind this whole thing. Now, I'm going to take it for what it is. It's one game. One game. It was a very good game. It was very, productive game as far as stats-wise, but it's one game. So let's just take it for what it is. Next week, they got a game against Washington.